Hey guys, my name is Jess Shatkin. I'm a physician and I spoke with your parents tonight at the Glenbard Parent Series. I had a really nice time. And I want to tell you a quick story about myself. When I was in college, I wanted to be a doctor. Actually, I wanted to be a doctor since I was 5. And I took organic chemistry my sophomore year of college and I got a D. And that's not what you want to get if you want to go to medical school. And in fact, my advisor told me that's it, my chances were over. And it was very discouraging. And I was able to fight back over the next years of college and to persevere and to push through. The system wasn't designed for that. It wasn't there to help me. But I was able to push, and you can push through all of these risks that you're facing. And you face a lot of risks. You face things that are far beyond what I faced. If I can get a D and become a physician, then you can work through these risks, I'm telling you. And these risks are significant. You have so much screen time. You have vaping and you have legal marijuana, and there's so many things around you right now, and hookups are so much more common than one-night stands used to be. And this is a lot for you, and it's overwhelming. And by the way, we've given you so much more homework than we have given any generation ever before. Used to be we were just allowed to go outside and dig in the dirt. Now you have to be in all sorts of programs because you got to get into the best school, etc. I think the smartest guy I ever met had gone to a community college for 2 years and then transferred to university and then moved up. This happens all the time. So where you go to college matters, but it doesn't matter more than anything else. And your grades right now matter, but they don't matter more than anything else. What matters is you learning to take care of yourself. And you do that through a number of things. One thing is getting enough sleep. Now I know, again, the system isn't created for that for you. You might have school that starts at 7:30, and we're trying to work on that nationally because we know that starting later is much better for you. But anything you can do, naps included, to get yourself close to 9 hours of sleep, which I know sounds heroic, but it's what people your age as teenagers need in order to function their best, in order to think their best, in order to feel less stress and anxiety. We can actually look inside your brains now, and we can see that when you get 8 to 9 hours sleep, you feel less stressed, and your brain registers that. We know that if you eat more healthily, you are less likely to become obese. And if you become obese, you are much more likely to suffer depression and anxiety and all sorts of health complications. And you don't have to wait until you're 50 or 60 for those. They can happen much earlier. And exercise. We now know that exercise is a treatment for depression that works as well as therapy or medicine for mild and moderate levels of depression. And so it's also a prevention. Only about 20% of American kids are getting the recommended amount of exercise. We've got to do better. And some of that is on the schools and on the parents, and some of that's on you. It makes a big difference. You can do something about that, and that will help to change your life as well. And another thing I want to talk about is when you're facing a risk, when you're looking at going to a party, or you're looking at thinking about having sex for the first or the 10th time, whatever it is, I want you to think about the feelings you will have if things don't go as expected and as planned. Because we know that thinking these things through and trying to tap into those feelings is very powerful for people. And it sometimes does change their behavior and let them reconsider their options. And I want you to do this before you face the risk. Because if you do it in the moment, it's too hard to be rational, and we end up justifying often what turns out to have been an unfortunate decision. But if we do it in advance, if we think to ourselves, well, if I were to have sex and if I were to get pregnant or get someone pregnant, what would happen then? Would I have the baby? That's a real thing. Would I terminate the pregnancy? Is that something that you and your family and your culture and your religion could tolerate? If you did have the baby or terminated the baby, then what? What happens? Do you stay on the gymnastics team? Do you go to prom? Do you still get to play football? Whatever it is. And these things are really worth thinking through and coming up with decision pathways before you actually get in those moments of risk. And I know your parents might seem really, square and not somebody you want to talk to about this stuff, but I'll bet that the vast majority of your parents are dying to hear from you and talk about this with you. And I encourage you to start the conversation one step at a time, because I think they do want to hear. And I think that they get scared too. They're not sure how to engage with you. And it's easy to go in your room because, dealing with them can be difficult. But they are one of the most important relationships, if not the most important relationship you'll have in your life. So please talk to them, please share with them at least something of what you're doing, and let that lead to a bigger conversation about some of the challenges you're facing. And I wish you the very best.